Coming up on the show, a preview of Game 4 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals between the Boston Bruins and the Washington Capitals. Today's episode is brought to you by Gatorade 01 Prime. And before I get into this video, you notice the ads on the video, and there's a yellow marker down there where the video trail moves. Please click on one of the ads. It sends money to my account, and it would definitely help keep things, I guess, improving. So any help is appreciated. Okay, now moving on to the news. Alex Ovechkin shrugged his shoulders while offering his take on the suspension that will keep center Nicholas Backstrom out of Washington's lineup tomorrow night for Game 4 of its NHL Playoff series against Boston. Quote, sometimes you think it's the right decision, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you want to laugh. So right now I think it's kind of a bad decision, but there's nothing you can do. While trailing the defending Stanley Cup champion Bruins 2-1 heading into a game the Capitals, quote, have to win, to use Ovechkin's phrase, 7th-seeded Washington did set about trying to win the off-ice words Wednesday. There was the front office's statement that it doesn't understand the league's punishment of Backstrom. There were forward Jason Chimera's declarations that Washington's players aren't wimps, that Boston embellishes fouls, and that Bruins goalie Tim Thomas should have been banned for a game for using his blocker to hit Backstrom in the face in Game 2. And there were Coach Dale Hunter's criticism of the officiating and a reference to his earlier charge that the Bruins targeted the head of Backstrom, who returned to the lineup March 31st after missing 40 games because of concussion. Then again, the strongest statements of all came from Boston coach Claude Julien, who was asked to respond to Hunter's comments. Quote, that doesn't make sense. I don't know any coach that would tell his team to go after somebody's head. It's ludicrous. It's ridiculous, okay? Julien then referred to Backstrom's stick-in-the-face match penalty as the third cross-check by the Capitals during the series, and added, quote, but we're not whining about the referees and what's going on here. We need to win a game and we need to win a series, and that's where our focus is on. That's what it should be. Asked about the targeting charge, Bruins forward Milan Lucic said, quote, just because a guy's injured doesn't mean you have to go out of your way to re-injure him. But you don't go out of your way to be light on him. You still have to play against him like you would any other player. During a 1-minute, 3-question session with reporters, Backstrom acknowledged his cross-check of Rich Peverley at the end of Boston's 4-3 victory in Game 3 on Monday, quote, was stupid on my part and I've got to deal with it now. Asked whether Hunter was right that the Bruins were aiming for his head, Backstrom answered, quote, a little bit, but that's how the playoffs is. I like when it's tough and stuff like that, so there's nothing bad about that. In explaining Tuesday why he thought Backstrom deserved to avoid punishment, Hunter said the player was trying to protect himself. Hunter also brought up Wednesday saying Lucic, quote, Lucic going after his head again, Nicky's head, stuff like that, but we just have to play through it. It's up to the referees to do their job and protect the players on the ice, unquote. Later, Hunter also pointed out the Bruins were definitely offside on the rush that eventually produced the winning goal in Game 3, saying referees do miss stuff and that was a bad call. The Capitals took on the league office with a statement reading, quote, we disagree with the NHL's decision to suspend Nicholas Backstrom. This has been a competitive and physical series. We do not understand why a suspension was imposed in this case, while other incidents in the series have not been reviewed. In a rambling Q&A with reporters, Chimera said the Capitals, quote, did some stupid stuff last game that you can't do. I mean, we can't take stupid penalties. Accused Bruins center Brad Marchand of, quote, diving and stuff like that, and noted that the Capitals have, quote, guys that can drop the gloves and are not scared to drop the gloves. In pointing out that a goalie using his blocker to injure a player should draw a match penalty, Chimera said, quote, I don't read the rule book every night. It's not like it's in my Bible, but it's certainly there. Washington defenseman Carl Alzner explained his, quote, crybaby gesture directed at Lucic, saying, quote, we all know that he's one of the toughest guys in the league. It was more about a lot of guys complaining about calls. Capitals goalie Thomas Vokoun said an MRI exam showed that he had pretty severe tear of the groin muscle that has sidelined him since he left the game on March 29th. Asked what the timetable for healing might be, Vokoun said, quote, honestly, I have no idea. Capitals forward Mike Newble is expected to fill the open spot by Backstrom's suspension. Newble last appeared in a game on April 5th. Washington defenseman John Erskine is set to play for the first time since February 12th, replacing Jeff Schultz in the lineup. Erskine had 51 penalties and took 20 shots in 28 games in the regular season. So there you go. That's our preview for Game 4 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals between the Bruins and the Capitals. Backstrom suspended. Lucic is the toughest guy in the league. Chimera accusing Brad Marchand of diving. It's a pretty physical series, and so far the playoffs has been very physical. And make sure you guys click on one of the ads. When you see that yellow marker, click on one of the ads. There should be something there, and any help would be appreciated for this channel. And enjoy the playoffs. And another update right now. Looks like the Penguins just scored again. Steve Sullivan just scored. It's his first goal of the 2012 playoffs. It's now 7-3 Pittsburgh with 9 minutes left in the second.